I started an all-female fight club because it was the only way we were going to survive. I grew up in a house where women got hurt and men did the hurting, and everyone pretended it was normal. My mother taught me to cover bruises with makeup before she taught me to tie my shoes. My grandmother had permanent nerve damage in her left arm from when my grandfather threw her down the stairs 30 years ago, but she still cooked his dinner every night with her good hand. My father considered hitting women a form of communication, like some men used words and he used fists. My brothers learned from watching him, and by high school they were already practicing on their girlfriends. The week before I started the fight club, my cousin ended up in the ICU because her husband pushed her off their second-story balcony and told the cops she jumped. The doctor said she was lucky her spine wasn't severed. She had a 2-year-old daughter who watched it happen. That's when I knew that if we didn't learn to fight back, one of us was going to end up in a coffin instead of a hospital bed. I'd been secretly taking combat training at a gym 40 minutes away, telling my family I had a second job cleaning offices. I'd learned how to break a chokehold, how to shatter a kneecap, and how to use someone's weight against them when they came at you swinging. My brother's wife was the first to join when she showed up at my door with her arm in a makeshift sling because he'd twisted it behind her back until something popped. I took her to my gym at midnight when no one would see us, and after learning how to flip someone twice her size, she cried from relief instead of pain for the first time in years. Next came my other sister-in-law who'd been wearing turtlenecks in summer to hide the handprints on her throat. Then my cousin who'd lost hearing in one ear from being hit so hard. Then her sister who had cigarette burn scars up her arms that her husband claimed were cooking accidents. We started meeting in an abandoned warehouse I'd found, practicing on punching bags I'd bought with money I stole from my father's wallet. I taught them how to go for the eyes, the throat, the groin, how to turn car keys into weapons, how to use their purses to block a punch. We practiced until our knuckles bled, wrapping our hands like real fighters. My youngest cousin was only 19, and her boyfriend had already broken her nose twice, but after 3 weeks of training, she could drop me to the mat in 10 seconds flat. The women started walking differently, making eye contact, and their husbands noticed. My brother cornered me at a family dinner and said his wife was getting mouthy, and asked what I'd been telling her. I said nothing, but I knew we were running out of time before they figured it out. The night they found us, we were practicing how to get out of being pinned against a wall when we heard truck doors slamming outside. My brother kicked in the warehouse door with my father and 3 of my male cousins behind him, like some kind of enforcement squad. "You bitches think you're tough now?" my brother screamed, spit flying from his mouth. "I'm going to beat every one of you so bad you'll need plastic surgery to look human again." He grabbed his wife by the hair and started dragging her toward the door while she begged him to stop. My father grabbed me by the throat and slammed me against the wall, saying I'd corrupted their women and turned them into devils. That's when my brother's wife did exactly what I'd taught her, driving her elbow back into his solar plexus, then spinning and bringing her knee up into his nose with a crack that echoed through the warehouse. Blood exploded across his face as he dropped to his knees screaming. "No, but..." My cousin grabbed a metal pipe we'd been using for practice and swung it into her husband's shoulder, dislocating it with a wet pop. My sister-in-law pepper sprayed my father directly in the eyes when he let go of me to help my brother. The men were on the ground crying and bleeding while we stood over them, breathing hard but standing tall. My brother was sobbing like a child, holding his shattered nose, begging his wife to help him. She looked down at him and said the words I'll never forget. "You taught me that crying means you're weak, so stop being such a little bitch." The men crawled out of that warehouse broken and humiliated, and we knew everything was about to change. They burned down my apartment the next week and filed false police reports saying I'd started a gang, but the women had already started disappearing one by one to shelters I'd connected them with across the state. My family disowned me completely, but 5 years later my brother's ex-wife sent me a photo of her with her new husband and daughter at her college graduation, finally free.